All right, good to go.
Hello, that was an abrupt shift. So that was an abrupt back to part two. We abruptly cut off in part one. A little unexpected there.
Hmm.
Okay, so let me share my screen here with you.
At least it was a good timing because we didn't get very far into this
I
specific
know,
topic.
and then next time when you're sharing on my account, let's figure it out first because in the other one I couldn't figure it out for a long time. It was miserable for us
Mm,
in the video.
mm,
That's
yeah.
it. Okay. I think I may have even cut that out. I ended up being like, done. We can't.
Yeah.
Okay, so magical properties. So, of course, our little. Okay, so earth ceremonies, of course, to attune to the spirits of the forest. We've already talked about that. Wealth and money. Interestingly, another one for wealth and money. And you could see why, though. It's because it's like a perfuming ingredient. You could see that it's
Mm,
like mad, like super, yeah. Protection, strength, and to remember the dead. So you can almost see those in the lore, like the different,
mm,
like to remember the dead, like in the Egyptian, and yeah. So, and protection and strength a lot often they said comes from the connection to the oak tree. So it's like
oh,
the
okay.
moss people. So it's like
Mm,
they get, yeah. So
that makes sense.
yeah. So the medical properties: antimicrobial, antiseptic, anti-inflammatory, an expectorant, and a restorative. So the acids are gnarly in there. So you can, it's the acids from the lichen are antimicrobial and
Mm,
antiseptic. It's often used in soaps, not just for its smell, but because it does have antimicrobial properties. And people say that they use it for coughs and mucus, but this seems to go back farther. People say mostly because it's so acidic, not a lot of people are using it inside because you've got to rinse it and rinse it and rinse
mm,
it and rinse it until it's not as not till these acids are gone. But it's used in facial preparations for your face. You could see why, because all those like fruit acids or glycolic acids or whatever. I'm sure like this is has acids as well. That
mm.
then the next one, ashwagandha.
Very nice.
And I have some visual things that I will show you after we go.
Mm,
So see, so this is like a botanical drawing. And then this is like what AI came up with. This is when I told it to make me a drawing of ashwagandha. This is what it thinks ashwagandha looks like, which is hilarious because I'm going to show you what it really looks like. Okay, that's what it really looks like right there. Although it is growing in a habitat that it's not excited about because again,
mm,
I always like to grow these Indian herbs. Like it likes it's from India, for God's sakes. What am I
yeah.
doing to this poor? That's looks sad. Look at that measly little
Oh,
dog. I
she's
know.
trying
It's
her
like
best.
I know because that's the look. The female stock is all like, all I do is make the berries. I have nothing else but the berries.
Oh,
I know. There's a berry right there.
nice.
Exactly. So, okay, wait, before I do that, so let me show you these. So, okay, I'm gonna stop sharing because I want to show you these. So, um, this is an ashwagandha tincture that I have going right now. It's pretty rad though, I think.
Yeah.
I'm pretty excited about it. And it was a little I use the simplers method. And so when I put it in last night, it had kind of some of the root probably had sucked up more because it's really a woody root. It's a
Mm,
freaking one of the gnarliest woody roots you will ever come in contact with. Is it's like isn't bloodroot like that too? Like there's
yeah.
some roots or some woods that are just like insane. Like this is
Yeah.
one of them. It's really hard. So it sucked in a little bit, so I had to top it off a little bit, but
Mm,
it's in like a what's it called? Like what Everclear.
mm.
I think the next one I'm gonna get is some brandy, but I've been trying to go through the Everclear with my stuff. So anyway,
Yeah,
that's
that's kind of
that.
mine too. I finally finished up my 100 proof vodka and now I have like half a bottle of Everclear left that I'm like waiting to
Yeah, as you
finish
feel
up.
moved. I
Yeah.
know. And then this is what it looks like in the bottle, like when you get it, and whatever, that's what the root looks like when it's chopped up and you buy it. And then you can even get this powder. So I have ashwagandha powder because that's how you can take it easier because it's so woody. So lots of things. So let me now share the screen again. Okay. Ashwagandha. Okay. Ashwagandha love. So much love. So the parts used are roots for medicinal use, but all parts for magic. And other names. Okay, so the Latin name, wait, let's see if we can get back here. Hold on. Did I remember? Oh, Withania somnifloral. That's what Withania somnifloral is what it is. Okay, so somnifera from somnifloral, it in Latin means sleep inducer. Ashwagandha is a spelling variant that I love. I think I might start calling it Ashwagandha. Amukuram is a language variant. And so then it's also called Chinese lantern, but that's because it's confused with the plant called Chinese lantern. And it's distinct though from it, but it's often confused with it.
Interesting.
Okay, so it's very. So it's called Indian ginseng because in Ayurvedic medicine, it's called a Rasayana herb, and which is like it's a tonic herb that promotes longevity, healing, health, memory, intelligence enhancing type of herbs. I don't know how it crosses over with adaptogens and Rasayana. I should have looked that up, but we call this as part of an adaptogen herb in Western medicine or Western herbalism too. We would consider this an adaptogen. So I don't know how that crosses over with the idea of Rasayana herbs. Maybe well, maybe not so well. And then I couldn't find any about this one, Kanaje Hindi. I don't know why it's called that. And it's also called poison gooseberry. Even though I don't think the berries are poisonous, I tried to look it up, and there's other parts that are kind of considered can be poisonous in some ways, but we'll talk about that. Not the bit. I mean, it's also called Sam al Falak, which is a language variant. So ashwagandha, the correspondences, it's associated with fire and earth. The planets are Mars and Venus. The astrological sign is Libra, but you would think with the horse and the fire that you might choose Sag. So that kind of combination was an interesting one. I was like, huh. Although Sag isn't really balanced, so.
I was just gonna say the adaptogen, like.
Yeah, exactly. It's not really Sag, is very unbalanced, so maybe so. Too bad there's not a more like, I was thinking like a balanced, like I was trying to think who's like balancy, like that's, but no, not even, no, that would not work with, I was thinking the other one is Aquarius, not so much.
Yeah.
The chakras obviously root, and the goddesses, all I could find was Lakshmi was the association. So the first one is this idea of the horse and how it's really associated with the horse because Ashva means horse and Gandha means smell. So it's horse smell. Ashwagandha. It is literally horse smell. Okay, and it does. Okay, so I got some of this tincture when I topped it off. I pulled it off and I got it on my hand and I'm like, dang, I don't know what that smell is. And I'm like, it's horse smell, horse sweat. Oh my gosh, it's such a weird smell because I started out with like very like it's completely non-smelling because it was like Everclear. So it's completely
yeah. And then it's steeped.
Yeah, exactly. In a day. Like literally I did this on the full moon when the 24th, so in a couple days.
A couple days ago, yeah.
Yeah, it's beautiful yellow. I'm so impressed already.
Yeah.
Makes me happy. Okay, so but this idea of being connected to the horse not only refers to the smell, but also it's tied then to strength and vitality, which I think is part of this root chakra idea, that like this idea of being like the whole base for all the energy centers, like the base, the foundation, the strength. So it kind of goes along with it that these herbs also represent that, even the oak moss.
Mm-hmm.
So it imparts vigor and stamina of a horse. So this connection between the herb and these equine qualities symbolizes its deeply held value in promoting energy and resilience as well. Okay. So also there's some stories of import, of course, from India, because that's where mainly you see this. It's mainly an Ayurvedic herb. So it's used in healing rituals. So it encompasses these healing rituals, use herbs and oils and specific foods to balance the different doshas. So the vital energies, vata, pitta, and kapha energies. And ashwagandha is known for its adaptogenic and rejuvenating properties, and it's used in various forms as part of healing rituals. So it's also protection and purification, part of those type of rituals. And then also it's seasonally religious. So there's times in the Indian culture where it's more appropriate to ingest ashwagandha than other times. The magical properties. Okay, so of course, strength and stamina, like we talked about, prolongs life, endurance. It's also considered an aphrodisiac. Sexual prowess, and then it illuminates things that were once dark. So this is kind of the theme for the next one. It's a weird thing. That's like an interesting thing that I came across. So if you dream of enlightenment to the status of a relationship, you place it in a sachet or a sachet under your pillow. It will like illuminate the status of a relationship. It'll illuminate a dark spot in friendship. It'll illuminate a dark spot in a relationship. So again, because of that, so it's connected with friendships and relationships because it'll illuminate the dark spot in the friendship. And to return friendship to a good spot, you can put, not pout, and because I am a nightmare like you, I go like this and go like this, and then I'm going to go back to that.
Nice.
Okay. To return friendship to a good spot, put the stems in a copper container on a Friday and put them on the counter in the sun. So, and then the medical properties of ashwagandha. An adaptogen, and some say it's an abortifacient, but I put a question mark because most people are taking it during pregnancy. So maybe if your baby isn't doing really well, or if there's a problem, it's an abortifacient. But that's like, it doesn't seem to be widely held, but that's one of the reasons why it's been banned or taken off shelves or whatever, is because of that. If it has been, yeah. It's an aphrodisiac, an old rheumatism cure. I think this time it really is. I think it is anti-inflammatory. Antioxidant, antispasmodic, anti-tumor, a diuretic, an immune amphoteric. What is that? What is an amphoteric? What is an immune? Let's look it up since we have a green.
Yeah.
Let's look it up. Immune amphoteric. Oh, there it is. These are herbs that have balancing or amphoteric effects on the immune. Oh, so balancing.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
A nervine sedative. Yeah, more powerful than the put a man on the moon with less than this. Thyroid stimulant. Some people say it's a narcotic. Again, I'm like, that's like seems like a far cry. A diuretic and an antidepressant. So a calming adaptogen. that is, so it's used for ADHD, PTSD, it's an antidepressant. It reduces anxiety and nervousness. It also reduces cortisol levels. So that's really important for people that have undergone long-term abuse, because that's one of the main problems of long-term abuse, is that your cortisol levels are high for so long that they actually cause brain damage in your head, because of the over the course of time you have such incredibly high cortisol levels in your brain from long-term feeling unsafe. So your root chakra being unbalanced. Can you imagine this? Okay, what, this is so rad, way too rad. I cannot make this shit up. Okay, when your root chakra is imbalanced, you are unsafe, or when you are unsafe and unwell, your root chakra is not in balance. Okay, when I was unsafe and unwell and felt like I could have my living situation ripped out from under me at any second, my root chakra was problematic. Okay, my cortisol levels were also like sky high. So this is one of so if you take this herb that's associated with the root chakra, that's what it's going to do. It's going to balance those cortisol levels. It's so it can't be more perfect than that. Okay, you can smoke the leaves even to relax, de-stress. It's also a neuroprotective. So it's an it has anti-neuroinflammatory properties. These are all from a medical journal too, by the way. Anti-Alzheimer properties and anti-Parkinson's disease activity. And I'm going to give you those links. Okay, so it regulates thyroid for mild hypothyroidism, and it's an immune stimulant or some say it's a stimulant, and some, because usually you're taking it, I wouldn't say usually. Maybe, I mean, if it's an immunomodulator, that is an important differentiation, because an immunomodulator would imply that somebody with what's it called, like a autoimmune disorder could also take it, which I believe they can. Where if it was just an immune stimulant, they would not be able to take it, because that would cause, they don't want their immune system stimulated, because then it eats you or whatever, it hurts you. Not eats you, that's a little dramatic. So medical properties part 2. So if you have sex stability, ashwagandha is good for sex. It enhances the sperm count and motility of the sperm. It's also good for female infertility, vagina pain, and during menopause you can have vagina pain, and menstrual troubles of all sorts. It's also a nutritive for iron deficiency. So, and in Africa they use it as well, and so I wanted to give some I didn't find anything but medical on it, so I wanted to just say the medical in this person. But the Sotho use it as a uterine tonic if they regularly miscarry. So apparently it's used for women that regularly miscarry to help bring them back to a place where they're carrying their baby. Diarrhea and a lack of libido. And the Xhosa apply the leaf to anthrax lesions, and the green unripe berries, they crush them to treat ringworm and saddle sores. So more medical properties. Okay, these are great. Verms. I love Dr. Paul. He always says verms. Piles, which are like hemorrhoids. Anti-cancer, antioxidant for diabetes. It'll bring down your sugar. Cardioprotective. Antibacterial, I think I said that, maybe not. Performance enhancement. So then there's like these weird side notes. In some, they're sensitive people, and if you are sensitive to it, and if you already have liver issues, it may cause liver damage. With that said, I wouldn't be taking it long, like even though it says it's a tonic herb, usually tonic herbs you can take long term. So I'm a little bit confused about that, but I would check your liver enzymes just to make sure that you aren't one of those sensitive people. And if you are somebody who has liver issues already, this may not be the herb or the root for you. And then again, the abortifacient was mentioned, so take care if you are to believe such a thing. So these were the words, the works cited, and you can see I didn't have, not much was on Oakmoss. I didn't have much for Oakmoss. There weren't a lot of books on it, so there you go. Oh yeah, these are the what's it called? The
articles, medical
yeah,
articles.
the articles, yeah. So that I was, yeah. Anyway.
Nice.
A rejuvenator of our, that's what a Rasayana is. It's called, considered a rejuvenator, I guess. Okay. So that's it. Let's see.
Okay.
Share. Yay.
Very nice.
Very
I
nice.
also made a PowerPoint this time.
Yeah,
that is fancy.
I'm a PowerPoint like bitch, I swear. I almost who cares.
I mean, I make a PowerPoint. I make 1, 2, 3, 4. I make 4 PowerPoints every week, not including for this class. So I'm not in love with them, but they're easy. So
they are. I feel like it leads the discussion along. Like it pushes it furthers the discussion.
Agreed. Okay. All right.
Oh God, I love it. Look at you. That is adorable. I love this.
I even had like I think my clicker is like.
Can I go? I want to grab those roots.
I know. Oh, it's not working. Okay. So we're gonna start with ginger. Ginger.
Zingiber.
So Latin name, Zingiber officinale. Folk names, I only really found 2: African ginger and jakeroot.
Hold on 1 second. Let me see if I could, because there's one book I have that has an intense amount of names.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I'm gonna check it really quick.
What book is it?
It's that Briggs one.
Yeah, I don't know if I have that
right
one.
There.
Oh, I don't have that one. They also talk about white and black ginger, but it's the same ginger. It's just if it's like peeled or not.
Nope, you're right. That's all they have. They didn't even have the jakeroot. Same.
Oh.
I know. You were what? Okay. Do you know what jakeroot means?
No, that was just in one of my herbal books.
Okay.
It didn't explain why. So yeah, I guess it's just known as ginger mostly. And the parts used, root, there's like flowers and stuff that come from them that you can use in like non-medicinal ways, I guess, but you know, to each their own. Most people I think mostly just use the root. Okay, so I'm going to start with history and lore. So Francisco de Mendoza brought it from the East Indies into Spain, and then the Spanish Americans had brought it from Spain to the Americas, and so that's why we have it here. And then it was also around the time that it was brought to the Americas was being widely used throughout Europe. So there's a lot of traditional uses for digestive system problems, so things like irritable bowel, diarrhea. Oh, I think that's spelled wrong, actually. Yeah, so whatever. Diarrhea.
Acid, heartburn, indigestion.
Yeah.
Oh, wait. Upset stomach. Diarrhea.
Diarrhea. Whatever, I'll leave it. Yeah.
I love it also for like travel sickness or like sickness. Yes.
It's really any type of like stomach or like bowel like issues mostly. Yeah.
And it's also I think it's a safe one to do when you're even pregnant and you have like,
I think that it is as well. Yeah. So it's considered spicy, and oftentimes it's compared to cayenne and a less intense version of cayenne, but it has similar properties. So it calms an upset stomach, so it promotes the secretion of digestive juices, and so a lot of uh, good stuff to help with like pushing the food around. Eating a piece after you eat has been found to like help with the digestive process, things like that.
Am I gonna
Um,
am I gonna jump on you if I ask a question about it? Am I gonna
no,
Okay, so is that why they eat it at like sushi places? Is that or is that gonna come up?
it's not going to come up actually. So that is used as like a palate cleanser.
Oh,
So I didn't talk about that actually at all, but yeah, and so I
really?
think the reason that I think the reason they slice it so thin is one because it's pickled a lot of times, not always.
Yeah,
And the other one is to cut down on the spiciness. And so yeah, it's like a palate cleanser.
interesting. Okay.
Yes. Let me move my little window here. Okay. So it acts like a milder version of cayenne, meaning that it warms the body. And so a lot of places use it to promote circulation. It's like a blood like circulator. And so then we have avicina, I think is how you say that. So I have some things that well-known herbalists and like um medicine people have written about it. So he says that ginger is heating and drying. It's a digestive drug suitable for the coldness of the liver and the stomach. It enriches the faculty of memory, so cognitive memory, and removes the moistness. Oh, we got 10 minutes. Removes the moistness in the region of the head and the throat. So again, it's about like bringing warmth, meaning like moving the blood around circulation, things like that. Then we have Felter, who says ginger is a local irritant and a rubefacient, causes an increased flow of saliva and gastric juices, increases muscular activity of the stomach and intestines. So again, about moving that food along within the intestines. And also it's used, he said, to conceal the taste of like gross tasting medicines. So if you have a medicine or some tinctures that you don't like the taste of, you can add some ginger to it, and it'll help. I mean, you just taste like ginger, but yeah, I know. I have a biloba tincture that tastes terrible. I might put some ginger in it.
Really? My ginkgo doesn't taste too bad. I've got
Really? Oh,
one.
mine is rough.
Oh,
I
that's
mean, I still love her, but it's
horrible.
rough. Okay, and then we have Cook says warm infusion promotes gentle and warm perspiration. Favors an outward arterial flow. So again, with blood, increases the mucus flow of the lungs, bowels, and relieves flatulence, internal congestions, and spasms. He says that it's one of the like best remedies that we have because of like the increased circulation, which just improves like everything essentially. Okay, so Chinese sailors chewed ginger to help them with seasickness. So again, helping calm the stomach. Widely used in ancient China to treat arthritis. Again, with like the movement of the blood flow with that and kidney problems. It's really mentioned in one of the first great like herbal books that came from China, the Pen Ts'ao Ching, where it says that ginger eliminates body odor and puts a person in touch with the spiritual realm, which I think is really interesting considering like how earthy it really is and like going deep into the ground when it grows. Oh, and some places said that in China, it's associated with building fires, which is interesting. I don't know if you can actually use it to build a fire or if it's more just about the fiery qualities of it. I'm not sure, but then also improving digestion. Ayurvedic medicine uses it, or like Ayurveda talks about using it in religious celebrations and how in these celebrations they have to avoid garlic and onions. And so because they're avoiding that, they add a lot of ginger for like the addition of the taste. And also because if you eat ginger, it's very similar to fennel, where if you eat it, it can actually change the scent of things. So like if you eat a lot of ginger, your like body odor will smell more like ginger, like a sweet version of ginger. Fennel is known to do the same.
Hmm.
And so because they're smelling sweet now, that it's more appealing to the gods. There's an old Indian proverb that says every good quality is contained in ginger, which I like. And it's also mentioned in the Kama Sutra as an aphrodisiac. So ancient Greeks would take a piece of ginger and wrap like some bread around it and eat that after dinner to help with like indigestion and again moving the food along. But this practice is where gingerbread came from because then they started putting ginger in bread so that people didn't have to like take a lump of ginger and like mash bread around it and eat it. Then they started like grating it and chopping it really finely and then mixing it in with bread to serve at the end of the meal. And that was supposed to help with the digestion.
That's rad.
Yeah. And then eventually it became such like a common thing that people started building gingerbread houses before like Christmas and that association. They were building gingerbread houses to bring like even flow and like contentness and stuff in the house. So they would build like gingerbread houses and then it somehow got tied to Christmas.
Everything
Okay.
somehow gets tied to Christmas and somehow got tied
I
to
know.
this. What are you talking about? Somehow.
Yeah.
I'll tell you how. Patriarchy.
Yeah.
Patriarchy. How? What are you
Seriously.
crazy? Everything gets subsumed
Uh,
under the all-consuming goblin of patriarchy and
yeah.
capitalism, consumerism, and
Yeah.
Christmas.
Yeah.
Like it's
Seriously.
like
Oh
Jesus,
man.
feed
Yeah.
me. It's like this big like consumer Jesus. Feed me.
Oh, anything to make money.
Exactly how?
Uh,
Huh.
yeah. Um, let's see, what else? Roman and Greek empires used it mostly as like medicine and not necessarily as much as like food, until the Middle Ages, which is when it was then turned into like candy and eaten with the bread and things like that. There's
Love
also
that
an
life.
interesting, yeah. So Madame du Barty would serve large amounts of ginger to her lovers, including King Louis the 15th, to make them more submissive and pliant, meaning like movable, bendable. And so because that's what she wanted in her partners, I guess. Um, Oh, so ginger was one of the major spices carried along the Silk Road, which I know you're very knowledgeable of. Um,
As much as I would like to think, I was looking up to see like how the Silk Road predated though the slave trade was at a different time. So that
mm,
so we're talking about two totally different that I think there was like a little bit of so there's like I would love to see let me look at the years while you're talking about it, Bo. But
mm,
because I know I looked up whether the silk trade had any um let me see, the silk so the Silk Road, when did the Silk Road happen? The Silk Road more than 1500 years ago. So the Silk Road was going to run on 130 BCE to 1453. So it predates really like it butts up against all that colonialism. It's like
mm,
right at the end of that. Like
mhm,
right at that's the Silk Road kind of ends, and then all of a sudden it's like the spice trade triangle with the slaves, the spices, and what was the third one? There's and the rum. The rum.
mm,
The slaves, the spices, and the rum. So that's it like so that's okay, so that gets it in my head. This is like way earlier. This
mm.
so this is what you're talking about, this Silk Road, whatever.
Yeah, like the spice trade. Hmm.
Yes.
So then in TCM, ginger is considered pungent, dry, warming yang herb. That helps with like the cold and the damp weather and the ailments associated with that. And then just a little piece of info, Canada Dry's ginger ale was patented in 1907 by a Canadian pharmacist and
Mm,
became really popular to drink during the Prohibition.
interesting.
Interesting.
Do you like
Okay.
ginger ale? Are you a ginger
I
ale?
love ginger ale.
Is
Yeah.
do you make a Moscow Mule with ginger ale?
Yes. Or ginger beer.
Ginger beer? I don't
Yeah.
know the difference. What is the
Yeah.
difference? Is ginger beer alcoholic? I thought
You can buy some that are, but you can also buy some that aren't. It's just like a ginger fermented like
interesting.
drink. Yeah. When like ginger ale doesn't have like ginger ale that you buy now, like in mass produced grocery stores, doesn't have any ginger in it. But I believe that ginger beer actually has like ginger in it. I love ginger. I love ginger candies, ginger chews.
Oh,
So
me
good.
too. I love
Oh, so
those. I
good.
get them at the place down here. They're inexpensive too. I was looking for them,
Yeah.
but they only had them in, they didn't have, I just like the plain ones. I don't know what else they have. They have all sorts of things they have mixed
Yeah,
around.
I like the plain ones, but they have like a peanut butter one that is actually really good
What?
too. Yeah.
I've never seen the peanut butter one.
It's like
What?
coated in like the peanut butter powder, I think. So it's not like a glob of peanut butter, but it's like the ginger candy's coated in like peanut butter powder. It's really
That's
good.
unfortunate. I was kind of hoping like the Abba Zaba, like the whole
Oh no,
outside
not
was
quite.
like the ginger, and then the inside was like this peanut butter center.
Oh, that would be nice, but no. Um,
Sorry about that.
oh good.
We
Okay,
got less
so
than a minute. We're gonna die. So let's
oh
maybe we should
God.
stop right now. Let's leave and
Okay.
get started again. Okay. I'll send
Okay.
you. Okay.
See you in a minute.
Bye bye.